You are being interviewed for a teacher post. After normal greetings, the questions follow. Tell us about yourself. I am a passionate educator with a strong background in English literature and communication skills. I have been teaching for the past 5 years and enjoy making learning interactive and enjoyable for students. I believe in continuous learning and creating a positive class environment. Why do you want to become a teacher? I believe teaching is one of the most impactful professions. I enjoy helping students grow in knowledge and confidence. Teaching gives me the opportunity to shape young minds and make a real difference in their lives. What qualities should a good teacher have, according to you? A good teacher should be patient, understanding, and creative. They must be good communicators and listeners. Also, being adaptable and keeping the students engaged is very important in today's dynamic learning environment. How do you handle a classroom with different learning abilities? I try to use a mix of teaching methods like visual aids, group work, and hands on activities so that every student gets a chance to understand the lesson. I also give extra support to those who need it and encourage peer learning among the students. What would you do if a student is not interested in learning? First, I would try to understand why the student is not interested, whether it is due to personal problems, fear of failure, or lack of motivation. Then I would try to connect the lessons to their interests and involve them in more engaging activities to bring back their attention. How do you maintain discipline in your classroom? I set clear rules and expectations from the beginning. I also believe in being fair and consistent. If a student misbehaves, I handle it calmly, speak to them privately, and try to understand the reason behind their behavior. How do you make your class lessons interesting? I use real life examples, visuals, stories, and activities that relate to the students' everyday life. Sometimes I use role plays, games, or short videos. This makes the class lively and helps students remember the concepts better. How do you use technology in your teaching? I use PowerPoint presentations, educational apps, and sometimes videos to explain complex topics. Online quizzes and learning platforms also help students learn at their own pace and make learning interactive. How do you assess students' progress? I use regular class tests, quizzes, and oral questions to check understanding. I also observe their class participation and give them small assignments. Feedback from parents and students also help in assessing progress. How do you deal with parents who are unhappy with your teaching? I listen to their concerns patiently and try to understand their point of view. I explain my teaching methods and give them examples of their children's progress. I believe in open communication and working together for the students' benefit. What is your teaching philosophy? I believe that every student has the potential to learn and grow. A teacher should create a supportive environment where students feel safe to express themselves and learn from their mistakes. Education should not only give knowledge but also shape character. Can you describe a successful lesson you taught? Yes. Once I taught a lesson on environmental pollution using pictures, a short video, and a group discussion activity. The students were very involved and even created posters as homework. They remembered the topic well and could explain it in their own words. How do you handle stress or workload in your job? I stay organized and plan my lessons in advance. I also take small breaks to refresh my mind and try to maintain a balance between work and personal life. Talking to colleagues or doing a short walk helps me relieve stress. What do you do if students are talking and not paying attention? I stop the lesson and make eye contact with the students who are talking. I may ask a question to get their attention back. If the problem continues, I speak to them individual after class and remind them about the class rules. Where do you see yourself in 5 years as a teacher? In 5 years, I see myself as a more experienced and confident teacher. I hope to take one more responsibilities. Maybe lead some training sessions for other teachers or develop new teaching material. I would also like to learn new teaching techniques and keep growing professionally. Can you share an example from your past teaching experience where you helped a weak or falling student improve? Yes, I remember one student who was failing in English and had lost all confidence. I started giving him extra time after class and gave him simple reading and writing tasks every day. Slowly his interest grew, and by the end of the term he passed with good marks. The student even started answering questions in the class. Have you ever helped a student who was struggling academically? What did you do and what was the result? There was a student who found it difficult to understand science concepts. I spoke to her privately and learned that she was afraid to ask questions in a class. I used simple examples and pictures to explain the lessons and also encouraged her to ask doubts. She became more confident and improved her performance in tests. Tell us about a time when you guided a student who was not doing well in studies. How did you handle it? One of my students used to fail in math regularly. I found that he was not weak in math but had poor handwriting and often made calculation mistakes. I made him practice slowly and clearly. With regular feedback and support, his marks improved and he started liking the subject. Thank you.